If you've attended Eton College, then you will know what this next recipe is. It's an Eton mess. Why they call it a mess? I'll leave that to others. But seriously, folks, do you want something that is a quick, fruity, and light dessert? An Eton mess, which is just a terrible name, but it is kind of cute. I just call it, I don't know, berries and cream, but it's a fantastic dessert and it's very fast to make. And it's perfect for, I got a big dinner, I don't want to serve cake, just want something to finish up your din nice and light. This is the way to go. So first, let's go over the ingredients. We've got strawberries, because you got to have strawberries with an Eton mess, and whipped cream. You don't have those two things, you don't have an Eton mess. You don't have meringue, you don't have an Eton mess. So those are the three traditional ingredients. Then, if you want to have some raspberries and blueberries and blackberries, you can do that too. It's not traditional, but I kind of like raspberries and whatnot. And it is kind of British, right? Red, white, and blue. So we've got some beautiful strawberries, some raspberries, some blueberries. I have more raspberries in here because we're going to make a little sauce. Some sugar, because it's got to be a little sweet. And some mint, if you'd like, because it's always nice to put a little sprig of mint on there. So, without further ado, let's get this thing on the road. Okay, now typically you start with making a strawberry sauce. You can cook your strawberry sauce. I've never liked berries cooked into a sauce for the most part. I like just fresh berries pureed with some sugar, and that's it. Might put Grand Marnier in there or not, but I'm gonna mix some of these strawberries with the raspberries because I just kind of like that combination. You can do just the raspberries or you can do just the strawberries. And if you want, you can even put blueberries in here. But don't tell anyone at Eton College, they don't like that. Just gonna put a few in there. And a little bit of sugar, just to sweeten it up. Put the lid on and let it rip. Was that easy or what? Now, the hardest part about this sauce is straining it. Just dump everything in there. Don't waste. See, got another like 3 tablespoons out of there. And in a fine mesh sieve, using a rubber spatula, just push it through. And what will happen is that the puree will start coming through. And once all the puree is through, you will be left with a sieve full of seeds. Now the sauce could be made earlier in the day or even the day before, but not much more than that. See that? Just a bunch of seeds. You don't want to eat those. Be sure to scrape your spatula off as much as possible. Then with the backside, get rid of all the clinging puree because you want that too. Right? That you save, this goes bye-bye. Is our sauce. Isn't that pretty? Done. The only other thing to do now is to slice the rest of the strawberries. So you can slice them this way, or you can actually quarter them, or you can do it this way, the way my aunt used to do it. Make little like strawberry discs. And it's amazing. People will look at that and they'll say, what kind of a berry is that? You say strawberry, then they immediately take a second look. Huh? Because everybody's used to doing it the other way. Doesn't matter the way you do it. Just cut them up. Okay, now for you corers out there, I'm not using a strawberry corer, and I'm not going to be doing, you hull the strawberry. You can if you want. I don't normally. And there's really no recipe for this. I mean, yes, I have one down there, but it's one of those recipes that's absolutely perfect for not having a recipe, because you just say, okay, how many people do I have? How much berries do I have? And you just divide it up. So you really don't need a recipe per se. Okay, I'm going to mix the raspberries and the blueberries. Just a bit more sugar, depending on how sweet they are, right? I'm just going to use the spatula from before and just sort of toss. And what happens is the strawberries are sliced, so they have exposed surface, right? Which is moist because of the juice. And so that mixes with the sugar, and that will start melting your sugar so you can't see it anymore. And ideally, you just let that macerate for maybe 10, 15 minutes. And what all that means is that the sugar melts completely and sweetens the fruit a little bit more thoroughly. That's all that means. But it's looking good, so let's just do it. It's assembly time. Can you imagine? Okay. Berries, whipped cream, sauce, and meringue. Now, these are meringues that I had made and I had in the cupboard. If you want to go and buy meringue, like meringue cookies, you can get those everywhere now. That's absolutely perfectly fine, because that's pretty much what these are. They just look different. For serving, if you're getting a fancy dinner, you can use something like that. If you're getting a very nice dinner, but not too fancy or formal, you can use something like that. If you're doing a casual get-together or a buffet or something, you can use something like that. And if you just have people that pop on over and you need something to serve, you can use something like that. Okay, it doesn't make any difference. I would say just make sure it's glass. Reason being, it's like a trifle. You want to see all the layers. Okay, here we go. One for my whipped cream. One for my berries. And this is, I've heard, Prince William's favorite dessert. I don't know him, so I can't say it's for sure, but this is what I understand. So whipped cream. It's a bit of strawberry sauce. Then you take these meringues, and again, it doesn't matter what the shape is, and just break them in there. Now, obviously, you have to make this dessert and serve it, right? Because the meringues will start going soggy. So you've got everything ready to go, and then just have at it. And then you layer. So in essence, it's really almost like a trifle, right? I like a lot of berries and a lot of cream. This is a food group, right? This is the parsley of the dessert world, right? You gotta admit, doesn't that just like pop it? It pops it, right? That's it. It doesn't look like much of a mess. It actually looks quite elegant, but either way you cut it, and you can't spoon it. It's like a berry shortcake without shortcake. You should try this. Download the recipe, please. Because I like you. And if you could subscribe, I would appreciate that very much. And don't forget to ring that little bell. That way you'll know when the next episode is up. Tally ho! Yum.